don't force your truth onto other people. Okay? It doesn't matter even if you have done the research and you have factual evidence or whatever, but it's important not to push your truth or push things onto other people, because when you do that, you can damage or end whatever relationship you have with that person you're trying to push your truth on. We got to understand that we are individual computers vibrating on different frequencies and wavelengths. Or I guess you can say frequencies and wavelengths is the same thing. I'm not too scientific and all that, but we are on different wavelengths. We are on different frequencies. And it may not be that person's time to hear whatever you got to hear. So you got to understand that boundary when it comes to sharing your knowledge or sharing what you know. You got to know when to stop. You shouldn't have to debate your truth. You shouldn't have to debate your knowledge. Everybody has different perceptions on things. And when you do that, you could actually ruin that person's chance to elevate to whatever frequency you're on, because it's like blowing their opportunity. And how that can happen is they can just harbor so much resentment about that argument or disagreement that you all had, and even though it is the truth and you have the evidence to back it up, it's not going to matter anymore. They're going to probably want to just harbor some resentment about it, and whenever they think about that information or whatever, if it did come across them again, they're going to automatically reject it. So you have nothing to prove to anybody else. You came on this earth to prove to yourself, so you can elevate, and so you can elevate to the higher dimensions. It's not your job to force someone to see through your eyes or your perception or to see your truth. It is up to an individual's own spirit to receive whatever information that comes through. And I'm speaking this from experience on both sides, actually. I've heard many things that I've rejected because I wasn't ready to hear them. It's not something I wanted to hear. My spirit had to be ready on its own to awaken. And I had I guess you can say a Kundalini awakening in 2016. I had a breakdown mentally, physically, and spiritually. That was the year I officially stopped going to worship. And I actually quit my job that year as well. The job that I was at was draining me physically and everything. I was having some flu-like symptoms and felt like panic attacks. I mean, I was just really going through it that year, and I felt a lot of suicidal thoughts, but I was too proud to go and seek help or treatment from therapy or a facility. And that's one thing I do regret, is not going to get some help. But luckily, my spirit wasn't, I guess you can say my spirit wasn't eager to leave this place. But years before that, I guess you can say, I was hearing informations about a certain religion that I was in, and I was not ready to hear that. You was pretty much, it's like having an attack on my belief system that I stood on, But I had to hit rock bottom on my own, and to have some mental questions, just wondering, why am I here? What is my purpose of living? Because my religion was no longer providing those answers for me. So I had to seek on my own. And I started to do all types of, research and things. And I started to, learn different things that, even my religion, like, preached against. But like I said, it's like you can't force anything on a person. They have to awaken on their own. And even a person may be able to hear some things at that point in time, but then they may forget about it. And then years later, which has happened to me several times too, I was like, oh, I researched blah, 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 and I learned this, and it's very interesting, and I wish I knew this, blah, blah, blah. And then another person's like, I did tell you that. I told you such and such and such and such. But, I mean, even in my psychology class, I forgot what it's called, but it's like we all have our own perceptions about things, but sometimes we don't. It's like we hear things, we hear what people say, but it's like for some reason it's like maybe our subconscious suppresses it, and us, I guess, our desire and wanting to, that popping back up in our head, that could be from what that previous person has told us about, but we're just like forgotten. Or you might have heard certain things and a person just like, I did say that, or I did tell you about that, or it's like, I forgot, So don't force your truth and your knowledge on other people. They have to learn themselves. They may not be able to process it on their frequency. They may not be able to understand on whatever frequency they are. So just say what you have to say, and if there's push against it, or becomes debate, leave it alone, drop it, because you can damage your whatever relationship you have with that person. You can damage it, or it can end completely. You just never know, and it's not your job to make someone believe. They have to be willing to do this on their own. They have to. This is a journey we on. It's not a destination. So we have to elevate on our own. Nobody else can elevate us for us.